You would take that same energy and transform it into life. Greetings from St. Lucia, my island home. Have to start it. Have to be
Well, good afternoon. This is spontaneous,
Yes, it is.
impromptu, and I'm about to do something which I intend to do with more people. Okay, so you're one of my friends. We've known each other for a long time. We've been having wine, guys, and I'm keeping
Very
this
glass
as
of wine.
real as possible. I just want to keep this more real and organic, no formal. So my friend gonna ask me questions. I do not know what he's gonna ask me, but I'm ready for the interrogation. Welcome to my
Cheers.
YouTube.
Thank you. Okay, so it's Friday. We relax
Friday.
and drinking wine. So, okay, first question is: are you a strong individual? Are you strong? Will you consider yourself a strong person?
I've been through so much. And when I say that, I'm not saying it in a victim, oh, I've been through so much mode. I've been through life. And if you ask me that 20 something years ago, I'm 21, I would have said, well, I think I'm strong, but now I know I'm strong.
Okay. So for those people who are watching us and probably will look at this video, what's your definition of someone who is strong?
Someone who's strong is someone who's just realizing the internal powers, aware that life doesn't care anything about you in terms of if you're weak or strong. Or life comes at you, and life is saying, I'm coming at you to strengthen you, for you to recognize what you're made up of as an individual. So if you want to be weak, stay weak, but you have to make up your mind, I'm a strong person, I'm going to fight for what I want in life.
Okay.
That answers your question.
Yeah, but let's go back to those, like, for example, people who are just developing and just getting to know themselves. Okay, low self-esteem, they're sad.
Been there, done that.
Okay, so how do you now come out from that? So let's say let's roll back to secondary school. You're just leaving secondary school, not sure what you're gonna pursue. Everybody's telling you what you should do. How would somebody come out from that and become, okay, this is what I want to do, I don't care what you tell me. This is my
You've got to listen to that voice in here. When I look back at the younger McNeil, the cub, the 18-year-old McNeil, he knew what he wanted, but there was all kind of voices around him telling him what he should do, what he should not do. Something inside him was telling him, you'll win. Go for it. Go for it. So the younger McNeil, going from 18 to 21 to 25, explained everything to everybody. Oh, this is going to work. This is what I'm seeing in my mind. This is going to work. The older McNeil now, the more refined McNeil rather, is like, I know it's going to work because I know. So people have, I think there comes a point in your life when people get so used to you doing well, they realize, okay, I can't tell this one anything anymore. So it's a matter of, I just had that something in me that kept pushing me and driving me. So no matter what I went through, no matter how much I was disrespected or perhaps people were not believing in me or whatever it was, I just said to myself, I'm going to prove you all wrong. And I'm going to just keep focusing. And that's just, I don't know what to call it now. It's the resilient, tenacious, indwelling, indomitable spirit in me that just keeps telling me, you know what you want, go after it. And just don't care what people have to say.
Okay, so I'm hearing from you like a strong mind. You need to actually know what exactly you want and what you are about. Did anyone have an influence on you becoming this stronger McNeil?
Many people, starting with myself. But however, I know it sounds like, oh, it's myself. I have to call to mind my parents. My mom to begin with. My mother gave birth to me at 16 years old. A young teenage girl giving birth at 16. That must have been really tough. But I only began to appreciate and understand things in retrospect. So my mother gave me a lot of tenacity and indomitable power. Not realizing it at the time growing up, but as I've grown up now, looking back in retrospect, my mother had a lot of strength. My father as well, starting a business from scratch with my mother and being able to come out from poverty and to create so much for themselves and not, be bent by what society had to say, that inspired me. And there are many more people. The first prime minister of this country, other prime ministers of the Caribbean who I've seen doing well, the founding father of the United Arab Emirates, a lot of people. I think I'm just drawn to leaders, and especially those who have surmounted the the odds, the ones who have transcended the odds, those who broke the rules that were set for them by other people and were able to say to themselves, I can and I will. So it's many people have, and you know what I mean, I might digress a little bit more. I even look at people who have those limitations in terms of those people, what they call them, they say they're impaired, like visually impaired people. I have a blind friend who's done very well in life, and she has not allowed that to stop her from being a person. I look at people like, you know, those with no arms and legs. I see people who have had to deal with sickness their whole life. So I look at those people and I say, wait, are you suffering to teach me that what I have is more than enough to make me flow in life? I'm inspired by a lot of things, trust me.
Okay, so okay, being a strong person, are there times where you doubt yourself?
Self-doubt sets in.
And how do you overcome these doubts?
Do I doubt myself? Sometimes I ask myself, me? Like when I was embarking on the journey to work in the Middle East, to become a flight attendant, I said, Caribbean boy, or to become a shopping consultant. I don't know if I could call it self-doubt though. Do you know you have the brain working or the mind with all the information and data coming with, well, this happened and that happened? I have this intrinsic something in me that always likes to deny the appearances of things. So I'll not say I doubt myself, but of course the fear kicks in. I don't know if that's self-doubt. The fear, like, oh my God, I'm afraid. I'm about to step out of my zone and get into something. Excuse me, I just dropped a big belch here in the camera. But you know, I'm about to step out of something that I'm used to. But the doubt, no. I will be like, you know what? I'll find a way. I do not know how to explain it because as much as I'm so big on words, that one I cannot explain. There's something in me that overlooks the appearances of things and the noises around me. I'm like, I'll do it. I don't care. You might tell me you can't, and I'm like, I'll do it. Is there something in me that keeps driving me, telling me, you'll do it?
Do you think it's something that you're born with or something that you develop? That's
now
the next
that
question.
I don't know if it's something I'm born with or developed, because the thing is, from times I was a little kid, I just found there's something that keeps pushing me. Even if I'm afraid or scared or something is, like I know the information of the contrasting or the contrary thing going on, I'll be like, I'll find a way. I'll find a way. Even if I'm afraid. So that's the thing. So the fear is there, but the doubt, no. I don't know if, or unless if doubt and fear are interrelated, I don't know.
Okay.
But the fear comes, but the doubt is like, I tell myself, you'll find a way. Something drives me.
You don't allow it to stop you.
It doesn't stop me. I'm like, because the thing is, example, you know, I remember once, a few times I've held snakes around my neck, and there's that fear, because that snake, the fear is what the snake could do to me. But I want to hold a snake around my neck so I could actually take the picture, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I remember once I walked away from the snake and I'm like, no, I felt stupid. I'm like, you have to go back and hold the snake because you want to hold the snake. You want that picture. So why are you running away? Other people have held that snake. So what's the problem? Why would it bite you? So the fear is there, but the doubt, no.
Okay.
The self-doubt, I think people deal with self-doubt. I don't doubt myself. I have fear.
Okay.
But maybe they're interrelated. I don't know.
You made an explanation of what fear was. I think the last time we spoke. And you gave a good analogy of fear being just awareness of your surrounding, like you have a flame and you're gonna put your hands on the fire, but that fear is telling you, okay, this is heat, so let me ease off of it, but it doesn't stop you from actually accomplishing it.
That's the thing. I'm telling myself, I'm about to, that can injure me. So fear for me is, it's an alert. Something could happen. Something bad could happen. But then I tell myself, but there's also another side to it. Something good could happen. So let's avoid the bad that could happen. Now let's find out the good that will come from it. This is how my mind operates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's at no point in time you are stopped from accomplishing something because you're afraid of it.
The few times, like I said, that snake, I walked away and I felt guilty. I said, I have to go back. And once I was in the Philippines and I was about to jump off a cliff to do cliff diving. And I jumped off the lowest level and I felt stupid after I left. I said, why did you do that? Because you know you wanted to jump and life would never inspire you to do something that will harm you. So why did you not jump? And that troubled me. Those two occasions. But when it comes to things like career or getting into a relationship or getting to experience something bigger, even if that fear comes, I'm like,
you must overcome it.
I have to overcome it. Like I tell myself, you have to, because if you don't, you're gonna feel it's gonna mess you up.
Okay.
So I have to go after it, even if I'm afraid. Even if I'm afraid, I'm gonna do it. And I talk to myself. I'm like, we're doing it. We have to do it now. We have to do it now. It's just something that drives me, and if you want to call it the cosmos, the creator, it's God's power within me. It drives me.
Okay, so
but I do get afraid.
So
I do get afraid.
Young people who are now learning themselves and experiencing stuff, what advice would you give to them? In 2022, and everybody's afraid of the COVID
Lord.
and going out and wearing the mask and not sure what cure they can take. What few advice would you give to
Deny
them?
the appearance of what is. I'm not saying to pretend it's not there. Deny it. Recognize there's a problem and then work around it. COVID came, I never was worried. I remember I was because there's the thing, I'm a free spirit, so they call me free spirit. They say I'm crazy, I'm adventurous. 1,000 names they've given me, but I'll tell you something. When COVID came out, I wasn't afraid. I said, well, this is something, my brain tells me, there have been pandemics around the world for ages, so they come and they go. People gonna die. And I know it's sad, but people are gonna die anyway. My mom died, so you think I have no heart? My mom died, you think I don't feel it? But the things I'm thinking, why? So what about those who are not gonna die? Time has to go on, life has to go on. So when the COVID thing came out, I said, okay, the first thing I thought was, okay, that's a challenge for the world. So if jobs gonna be lost, new opportunities gonna be born. So that means if you're gonna lose your job, you're gonna start to do something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Speaking of myself, I got not terminated, I got laid off from my job. I wanted it to happen anyway because I wanted to step into my life passion, which had been taking so long. Normally I don't back down on things I want to do, but I spent 2 extra years being a flight attendant and I didn't want to do it any longer. So I'd already written the resume and the resignation letter, but then I did not follow up and I was like, what's holding me back? But I'm looking back in retrospect and I love the experience because it made me realize, make me feel what people go through when they stay in a job in a comfort zone. But I've always done jobs that I love, so that was a good thing for me to be in a job that I love that I now outgrew. So I was like, okay, you get to feel what people feel, so you could relate to them on a different level. So carrying forward about the COVID thing, when COVID came, I was like, okay, it's just another challenge for the world, so we all want to jump into something. We'll go for some pain, but we'll jump out. Let's fast forward. COVID is going on. I got COVID last year. And you want to know the truth about me? When I got COVID, I thought I was going to die because my body was really weak. At 3 a.m, I was upstairs in my room there, and I was thinking, this is it for me.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you. I've had a great experience.
Awesome.
I followed my dreams and I never stopped myself from doing the things that my heart called me to. And then the next morning when I woke up, halfway through the day, the next day, I said, I'm not finished. Something in me told me you're not finished. You have something to do here. So I cussed right in this chair I was, this sofa. My sister was sitting right there and I said, whatever role you had to play in my life, you fulfill it. Get the F out of my effing body. Your time is up. I burst into a sweat and my healing began. I found out that people take a long time to get back the smell and the taste. Mine came back the next day. So that's a miracle if you want to call it that. And it amplified my love for living. You look at me today. I'm out in the schools. I'm here making videos. I'm doing my consultations. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm contributing to the world's growth. Being myself. That's it. COVID is not going to stop me. It's a glitch, not a catastrophe. Let it do what it has to do, and I stand on that, but I'm not going to let it stop me.
Okay, so my next question now would be, do strong people cry?
Let me put the glass down.
That's a question.
Tough times never last. Tough people do. If there's somebody who cries, it's me. I've had some crying nights. Not some, plenty. In this house, I cried. I attempted suicide. I was thinking about it years ago, 20-something years ago. I've cried. Why me? Why am I going for this pain? The older me, more refined me, advanced me, thanks the younger me for staying resilient. I've cried. Why do I have to go for this pain? I went through some trying moments where I thought, this is going to be the end for me. I don't think I want to carry on. I felt ostracized once upon a time. I felt like I was not good enough. I had very low self-esteem. I look back on it and I'm thanking that, because that resilient gene in me kept pushing. I recall I almost jumped in the pool. I had already planned what I was going to do to throw myself into that pool to drown myself. And there was a friend of mine who worked at the bank with me at the time, Shella Von Jean, and she said to me, are you coming to the bank's picnic tomorrow? I said no. She said, boy, if you don't come, I'm not coming. You're the life of the party. She didn't know it until
That saved you.
that saved me. That moment saved me. But I had my crying nights. I felt like I was too different. Excuse me again. I'm not good enough. The society judges me. I'm different in my behavior and my mannerisms. I was concerned. I was wondering, what am I doing here? So maybe that's what you might, to go back to reference what you asked me earlier on, maybe that might have been the self-doubt. That was self-doubt happening there. So I did experience self-doubt. Self-doubt, I was doubting my existence. Why am I here? What am I here to do? But something inside me, call it whatever you want, it's the power of the creator within us that knew, you know what, you're bigger than that. I made you bigger than this situation. I want you to move forward. And I'm thanking Shelavon Jean. I want to look for her. I look for her on Facebook. I'm not in touch with her. I need to, she has to see this.
She probably sees and actually
she will see
call
it.
you.
And this is what revamped that call.
Yeah.
So I've had crying nights. I've had those moments I ask myself, what am I doing here? Why do I exist? What's the reason for living? What am I doing here? Why aren't things working as fast as I think they should? I've had those moments crying, but that made me stronger. And I think this is gonna go to what you said earlier on. Do I call myself strong? I became strong from my life's challenges. So when I see a young man or woman, whether they're from the ghetto, a gay young man, or a married man who's lacking in the finances, or whether it be a black person who thinks they're not good enough, or a white girl in some part of Europe who thinks that, you know, her family doesn't understand her, I want to say to them, don't stop, you've got something to do. This is just a fucking test. This is a test. This is a test, not for the creator or the universe or whatever you want to define or call the life force that drives through us. You just don't give up. It's a test. You're not being tested to understand what God thinks about you. It's for you to know what you are made up of. This is what I think from life experience.
You actually answered the question before I asked you. What would you tell somebody who was on that same verge of jumping into the pool? What would you tell him?
Well, everybody says don't give up. I'll not say don't give up. I'll say wake up, recognize yourself. You have got something to do, and you'd be robbing the world, yourself. You'll be robbing the creator. Well, we cannot rob the creator anyway, but you'd be disrespecting the creator, robbing yourself, and robbing the world of who you are, what you're supposed to do. Imagine if I had jumped into that pool and dropped myself there. My parents would have suffered, my sisters, the St. Lucia, my family members. People would not have met me today. So we have to not be selfish and don't give up.
Okay, so my final question will be to you now. How strong are you?
How strong am I? I don't even know. But one thing I'll tell you is this morning I was in a very deep meditation, and for me meditation is not something that's ritualistic or regimented or planned. I just woke up this morning. I had pain in my legs because I went running yesterday, and I did a few different exercises. So my calves, those sexy legs of mine. The ladies out there and the men too. Some of men are shy. You know, you men can be a bit shy about the whole thing. You know, I'm a free spirit, yeah, as you all know. So they call me. So they say you have some nice legs. I love to cycle, I love to swim, I like to run. So I went running yesterday and it hurt, the calves were hurting. And I said, well, it's Friday and I have to go out, I have to go and have some drinks. So I cannot be having some hurting legs going to the bar. So I went to the beach. That was my excuse to go to the beach. I love the sea. And I went swimming this morning because the swimming helps you to, you know, it helps with the muscles and everything. And what was your question? I drifted from the question. I drifted from the question.
How are you strong?
Strong. What was the question?
How are you strong?
How am I strong? I think it's just I drifted, you know, because I had some point to make a reference to the swimming and the legs. But the thing is strength. What is strength? Strength is, you know, I think we all have an innate capacity that we've been given. And for you to understand it or recognize it, you have to go through the motions, the process. You have to go through your pain. You have to go through your testing moments. You have to go through your tough times, which never last, but you will.
Yes.
You have to push yourself. You have to be willing not to give up. A tree starts as a seed into a plant, which everybody wants to chop down or probably walk over, but at some point if you stay strong enough, well, a tree doesn't decide, although it's there in the ground. I don't know how these things work, but the tree comes down and it grows and it becomes a massive tree, and then the same weeds that were trying to choke it stand at attention. Whoa, I respect you. And the same people who were trying to chop it down now need it for fruit and for wood. That's my naughty side displayed itself there. But you know, all the birds come
yesterday too. The analogy of the tree you gave me. When you're a seed, birds try to peck at you, everything trying to get at you, but you become resilient.
Resilient.
And you continue growing. And at the end of the day, you become so strong that the same things that try to kill you, you're providing
They
food
build
and
you.
shelter for
You
it.
provide food and shelter to them.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm from St. Lucia. This is a very small island. I'm from here. I had my frustrations growing up here. I thought this place is very backward. People are small-minded. The island pace gets to me. It sometimes still does. You know, this afternoon you heard me. I was cussing off about something. I was like, "Are you serious?" But the thing is, the same place that frustrated me is what inspired me to go out, educate myself, travel, grow, follow my dreams. And now, years later, I'm able to come back here and share with people. And I do it free of charge. And in some cases, I pay. I charge for my consultations because I have to eat as well. I like nice clothes and nice things, you know. So I get paid. But you get the point. I'm able to come back and share with St. Lucia. So I think whatever is there to frustrates you into your growth. And it depends on how you look at things. So for instance, a pearl, I always use that as my famous example, that the pearl is born out of when an irritant enters an oyster, and when the irritant enters the oyster, it starts to defend itself and it builds the pearl. Or a diamond, it goes under pressure in the ground, and the more intense it gets, the more beautiful and refined it gets. And then you have the ideal cutter, who I could call the Creator Almighty, who cuts you into your shape and your wood form. And then you begin to shine. So you could toss all that bullshit away. Oh, I went through this, people cursed me, they laughed at me. You could put that aside and you could now come back and say, thank you, by the way, because you pushed me to grow. And that's what I would say. So you asked me about strength. I think that was the question. About strength. I think, what is strength? I think the strength is built for going through situations and not giving up. And you build your strength there. And that's it. And it never ends, by the way, until your closing last day on this planet. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good job, Macklin.
I appreciate you. By the way, this is my very good friend and brother. We went to church together years ago. He knows, I told him. So we meet every few years and we always catch up with each other.
It's just like when we meet, it could be like, I think the last time it was like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, which felt like last year.
Yeah. And then every meetup, we always share
our growth.
And it's, I really appreciate when we meet up and we chat.
Yes.
So I thank you for allowing me to come and sample some really good wine and the discussion we had.
Yes.
And we'll continue to have.
We will.
It's really cool.
And this wasn't planned, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I met him a few days ago. We chatted and I said, you know what? The last time we spoke was 10 years ago. I'm still the same person, just evolved in the mind. And come to my home on Friday. And that's it. It just translated into this.
That's really cool. Yeah.
I appreciate this.
Yeah, man. I'm happy I'm one of your friends still.
Well, oh my God, but I need to top this up with wine.
Yeah, you can toast it in the glass. At least I know that.
Hey!
But
greetings from St. Lucia.
Bless.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man.
But,
Thank you. 22 minutes, 22 seconds.